Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at how to beat or complete the event for the new Bulma, and we're going to discuss some of the things you need to do to get her with relative ease. Now in terms of this event, it's a pretty straightforward one. It's not super similar to a fierce fight, it's a lot easier and more accessible. The challenge battles are not nearly as hard, plus there's a lot more Chrono Crystals to earn. There's around 500 Chrono Crystals you can get from this event, which is really honestly quite good. On top of that, you get this Bulma unit, who I would have to say is a pretty good unit overall. She looks like a lot of fun as a free-to-play unit. Very excited to see how good she is. You can also get the DB event exclusive equipment. For now, when you start the event, just note that you will be locked from some missions. So if you look at the missions before you get Bulma from stage 1, you'll see the missions are very limited. This is simply because basically you need to unlock Bulma before the rest of the missions activate. So don't panic if you see, why are my missions not there? You need to clear the first stage to get Bulma to activate the missions. Now, going back to the event, the first stage is pretty easy and honestly is very accessible. You don't need any specific units to take it on. You don't need to use a Bulma. You don't need to do anything like that. The challenges are very easy. You get peaches, you get skip tickets, you get a whole bunch of great stuff, so you don't need to worry too much about anything. Realistically speaking, you're in a good space. So yeah, right now, complete that stage. You can see I did it with whatever team was available. It was very easy. It wasn't that big a deal. Like I said, very simple stage. Once you've done that, you will unlock Bulma, which is great. You'll see here we unlock Bulma. Then we gain access to all of her missions. Now the missions for Bulma are going to be what consumes a bit of your time. Depending on how you feel, you could complete all of these missions before completing any further stages for Bulma, or alternatively, you can complete none of them and go complete the other challenge stages. Once you beat that first stage, you will get 4 additional stages unlocked. These stages will then unlock more stages, which will then unlock a final challenge stage. Each of these stages and their secondary stages will give 50 Chrono Crystals, so that's 200, and the final challenge stage will give 100. And then from each stage, you can obviously grab yourself an additional 20. So you're looking at over 500 Chrono Crystals. The missions for Bulma are very simple. Like very simple. It looks like a lot, but in reality, a lot of it's stuff you'll be doing every day. For example, a lot of it is completing raid. A lot of it is doing bonus battles. A lot of it is doing Let's Fight events. All of these are fairly straightforward. You need to level Bulma, you need to soul boost Bulma. You do need to get Bulma to friendship rank 2, which you can do through the Let's Fight events. Before you take on any of these stages, some of them do say use a Kid Goku. The easiest Kid Goku to get is from the Fighting Legend Kid Goku event. It's always accessible, which makes it easy to use. On top of that as well, it does ask you to get certain gear. You need to do the DB and DB2 ultimate equipment stages. I suggest you do each of them 50 times. That will complete pretty much all of her gear related missions. You can then re-upgrade the slots if you want to. Besides, those gear are going to be useful for your team. And then finally, on top of that, depending on everything else, you'll need to do adventures. You will need to, for example, do hyperdimensional co-op. You will need to do raid. You will need to do a little bit of the daily missions, making sure you complete those. But there's nothing too crazy. I will say, if you're looking for a character to boost your team, specifically, then you can definitely consider going and grabbing yourself the Demon King Piccolo from the Full Power Battle Exchange. He's a DB Saga boost, so he helps out a lot if you're looking to just boost your units. You won't use him in combat, so you don't need him super high up or anything or invest in him. But from a Z boost standpoint, he is going to be very helpful. Like I said though, if you just train Bulma, soul boost Bulma, do her equipment stages, do the Let's Fight events, you'll clear a ton of these missions very easily. A lot of them, like the skip tickets, the energy ones, you'll also clear very easily. And then there are some ones to do bonus battles, but again, you will clear those very easily. So before you even start the stages, you can probably have Bulma close to 7-star within the first day. It's really that easy to complete a lot of these missions. You don't have to go in too hard to complete them. You don't have to do some crazy gymnastics or anything to complete these and beat them and anything like that. So all in all, it's really quite accessible, so I wouldn't really panic too much about it. Now in terms of like team, DB is found under the tags. The episode is Dragon Ball Saga. So when it talks about DB, it's talking about the tags. It's the same thing, realistically. Building your team, there's not a lot of pure DB boosts, which is why I advise getting Demon King Piccolo. Especially if you don't have Android 8 or Goku or Master Roshi from when they came out as units, I highly suggest you grab them. It's just going to make your life way easier, like way easier, and you're going to end up having a much better time overall. With that being said, build your team how you want to. You could also do a girls team if you realistically want to, but remember you have to use a Kid Goku at some point to clear some of these missions. And although you don't actually need them to be super powerful, because you can just sub them in and out, using the Bulma does make your life a lot easier. So maybe just consider doing that if you are really struggling. But realistically speaking, it's only Bulma that you have to really cater to, because once you clear this first round of missions, so once you clear the first fight against Launch, first fight against Yamcha, first fight against Android 8, first fight against Master Roshi, you unlock a second challenge fight, and that challenge fight is tougher, but also only lets you use Bulma. So it's not super duper like conducive, it's not super duper challenging, I should say, to like do this. So yeah, pretty straightforward. You can see here, obviously we're completing the challenges. You will have to do each stage of this first round twice, because one challenge requires you to beat it with just Bulma, the other one requires you to use a Kid Goku. So logically speaking, you have to do it at the minimum twice. Once you've completed that first round, you will unlock a whole second wave of bonus stages. These are also not too hard. I would give you more advice on how to beat them, but they legitimately are not that difficult. Neither Bulma nor the Goku friend that you take in take a lot of damage from the enemies. Both of them can handle things really well. Bulma does a lot of damage to the enemy, so you should be more than fine. Realistically, these challenge battles are not hard, or not super hard. If you are struggling, go back to your missions, clear a little bit more, get some more Z power for Bulma, make sure that she's a little bit higher up. But honestly speaking, it's just really not, it's not that difficult. Now, all in all, realistically, to be honest with you, it's very simple. I think overall, there's definitely not a huge learning curve when it comes to these fights. Compared to like a fierce fight, I found these to be far easier. I don't think they are at the same level, so I think it's generally just a lot easier. With that being said, obviously doing these battles can be challenging, so especially if you haven't like completed any additional missions for Bulma, if you're not running a solid Z boost. So do look at those things if you are really struggling. Z boost is probably going to be the most common, because like I said, DB or Dragon Ball episode boosts are not super duper high up. They're not big on the scale of things. So yeah, I think ultimately, you should be fine. This challenge battle, this final one that unlocks with Goku, Can be difficult. Definitely, I think it's a little bit of a step up from the previous ones. But again, the Goku friend doesn't take a lot of damage. He does okay damage as well against the green unit as well. He is perfect for just switching in when the green unit switches in. And then Bulma can handle the Yamcha and the Goku. If you want an honest suggestion, switch in the purple Goku to handle the green unit. Switch in Bulma to handle Goku and Yamcha. And from there, you're pretty much good to go. Honestly, there's not a lot that you need to worry about in terms of this. Again, the same rules. If you're struggling, look at getting Bulma some Z boost. Look at boosting up Bulma herself to give herself some Z boost. And in general, you should have a good time. With that being said, that is pretty much everything you need to know. Honestly speaking, not too crazy a time. A very relatively straightforward procedure. And I think you'll find that, you will get this done quite easily. I think it's more just making sure that you complete the missions, keeping track of things like getting Bulma's friendship up, etc. But the Chrono Crystals and the other great rewards, honestly, are just there for the taking. So definitely do this event. It's a great way to stock up on some energy, skip tickets, 500 Chrono Crystals, lots of really valuable stuff. Plus Bulma is really cool. And I think overall it's a very simple event. But yeah, that's it from me. Bye.